today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to be looking at a pedal from a builder that we have not tried any of his products, but we have had the pleasure of interviewing him during our 19 conversations. So before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry like Lawrence Petros. Right. So the Beard's going to tell you which the first Petros pedal that we've acquired.
You know, you ever feel like it's that like late to the party, or
yes.
You go like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this band?" And people are like, "Where have you been?"
Yeah, right.
Kind of feel that way.
Right.
We've known about Lawrence for a long time. We've talked to him. This is the first. It's hard to believe this is the first time we've had a pedal of his. And years ago, we reached out to him and said, "Hey, do you make this type of overdrive pedal?" And he was like working on it, and then it went away, and then it came back, and now we finally have it. Thanks, Lawrence. He helped us out in getting this in a little bit. The 55 from LPD. So this is a tweed style pedal. We're super excited.
Yeah.
Gee, what do you say? He put enough switches and knobs on it to make it like run the whole gamut of tweed amps.
Every famous 50s and 60s amp, you know, in the tweed variety. You can
shove it in a box.
Yeah.
We sat down the night. We've had a couple different approaches to drive pedals over the years. What's been happening lately is like, let's grab a bunch of guitars, sit down, twist the knobs, play some clips, and just explore the pedal. So that's what we did here tonight. You have three knobs. You have a I'm guessing it's a volume, gain, and tone. Level,
tone, and drive.
Tone and drive.
Level, tone, and drive.
All right. So pretty standard. Then he throws two switches on. One's called the headroom. So if you flip the switch up, if you're watching the clips and you see the switch in the up position, that's going to give it more headroom. So it makes it so basically the amp wouldn't break up as fast.
Right.
Pop it down, it's going to break up a little bit faster. Go over to the other side, you have a voice switch. In the up position, we feel like it gives it a little
more lows, a little more mids.
Right. And so that between, and then we should say that voice switch is going to affect your tone knob a little bit.
Right.
Your headroom switch is going to affect how your gain works a little bit. It's like how if you had a real amp, how you're driving the power section. Whatever. Bottom line, flip the switches, turn some knobs, and great sounds come out of the pedal.
It was fun.
Right. And I'll just say, the last thing I'm going to say, before we jump into clips, I have a thing for these tweed pedals now. I feel like we've done so many overdrive pedals, and it gets to the point where I feel like no matter what overdrive pedal we throw on the pedal board, you kind of get it to sound like you. Right? The tweed pedals, I don't feel that way.
Yeah, they coax a little something different out of it.
Right? They don't react. Yeah, they just...
Right.
I like them a lot for rhythm stuff, especially if you really want to have that kind of just gnarly, whatever. So with that in mind, the first clip comes out, and where I fell in love with these, I've said it a couple times, I'll say it one more time. Andy... Do I need any more description?
Yeah.
Andy
here's my clean tone.
Yeah, he did a How to Get a Neil Young sound. Wasn't going for that at all, but every time I turn on a tweed pedal, I think about that video, and I'm like, oh, well, let's turn up the delay, let's turn up the reverb. So we threw the Dispatch Master on. I grabbed the SG Junior that Zzounds sent us. Notice we still have it. I promise we're sending it back.
The day you see the pickguard cover off that doesn't look like it's scratched, it's ours.
Yeah, you know it's sticking around. So grab that, and it's, I'm pretty sure I did the low headroom because I wanted it to break up. Pretty sure I boosted the mid, turned the voice to the up position.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit something like this for the first clip.
that's what it sounded like with P90s. I think about a Tweed amp. I think about Tom Petty, Mike Campbell. I'm not great at playing like either one of them. I had the pleasure of seeing Mike Campbell and Dirty Knobs. Amazing sound in a room. But I just thought it was great because when you look at this pedal, it says, you know, you can get a Tweed champ, you can get a Tweed Deluxe and a Tweed Bassman. But even more cool, I love the fact that a lot of the guitars and things in the past have been tied to car colors. This particular one is a 1955 Chevy blue matte finish. It's really cool because when I saw it for the first time tonight, I looked over Beard and said, is that a matte finish? And it sure is. So I did some really bad Tom Petty copying, but I thought that's where my mind went when I thought a Tweed amp mildly screaming for mercy. So I used the Telecaster, and this is what I played.
Things are getting good over here when we have a bass player and a drummer in the room with us and we can actually stretch out a little bit. But we still try, like in context, the best we can would be the two of us jamming together. So this next clip is actually a jam where I took the 55 and just stuck with this SG and we went for it. There was a little like octave thing in the beginning of this jam that set us on a rabbit hole. Sent us down a rabbit hole trying to figure out what song it reminded us of. It was totally unintentional, and it drove us crazy for about an hour.
But collectively, we figured it out.
I think collectively we figured it out. So with that, here's a little jam with the 55.
So that was the jam, again, using a P90, and hopefully you picked up on the soul of that song.
Absolutely unintentional. Stop.
So in the effort of trying to take a drive pedal and try to use different pickups, I picked up the Silver Sky and kind of try to figure out what I wanted to play, and I ended up playing this.
one of my favorite things about PRSs, and particularly my PRS McCarty right here, is that the volume knob has such a great taper on it. It works so well with certain overdrive pedals. And so any of you out there that play with your volume knob a lot as you're playing and adjust that a lot, it's really like a tone knob maybe, you'll understand. So what I tried to do in this clip is roll it back to clean the pedal up and roll it all the way up to dirty it up and try to slam it all together. So it's a little up and down maybe, but
it's menagerie.
I think it gives you an idea of just how well the volume knob works with the pedal. So you can set the pedal where you want it for the lead tone, roll it back, get a nice clean tone out of it. And that sounds a little bit like this. So as we start to wrap this video up, we got another jam for you with Pat taking the 55 for a spin. But I'm just going to say at this point, I really love this pedal. I think Lawrence did an awesome job. If you haven't tried a Tweed pedal in your rig yet, we don't push things. We're not like, this is the one. Go buy this. But I will say, we've tried a bunch of Tweed pedals recently, and this is the one.
There ain't nothing wrong with this one.
Yeah, this is really nice. Really good. Lawrence knows what he's doing over at LPD. Certainly check it out. What I was going to say is, if you haven't played with a Tweed pedal specifically, I think there's enough difference there that you might find there's a piece of your rig that, for me, I found there was a piece of my rig that I was missing when I discovered this type of pedal. You might find the same thing. Definitely check it out. What do you want to add?
Well, this particular pedal, it's great with the toggle switches. We did manipulate the knobs a little, not a ton. Most of the tone shaping we did was just simply by flipping the toggles. So we barely scratched the surface of this, and I can't tell you which amp we mimicked. You know, there's a lot of things in this pedal. It can be as tweakable and as tone chasing as you want to be, or you can just plug it in and click, click, and you're off to the races. Like, it's easy.
I mean, that was kind of the problem. That's where I think Lawrence messed up. You plug into it, you turn it on, and it sounds good, and you don't feel the need to sit down and start twisting everything. It just sounds good right from the get-go.
So however you open it in the box is how you use it.
Yeah, it really does. It sounds good right from the get-go. So you had one final clip. Why don't you tell them about that, and then we'll wrap it up.
Wanted to go with something a little bit different. Went through a couple of the pickup selections. This is the Beard's 2000 Swamp Ash Special, which is absolutely beautiful. I tried to play the blues. We'll just leave it at that.
So before we go down that road, thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button, click your notification bell, any of that stuff. We really appreciate it. That's what allows us to interact with great companies like LPD and bring great stuff onto this channel, hopefully share with you that you're interested in. So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear, especially when it's a 55 Chevy Blue.
Thank you.